Hello everybody, and welcome to my new video series on Dissidia Final Fantasy Arcade. The purpose of this series is going to be doing tournament-style video commentary for the different battles that the Japanese players upload onto YouTube from the arcade machines. Um, but before I do that, I need to give a little bit of overview about the game for previous Dissidia fans and new fans alike. And so that will be the purpose of this video. Now, the reason any of this matters is the arcade game has been out for just over a year now, and the original statement that Square made was that they would focus solely on the arcade version for 1 year, meaning now that that time has passed, they may very well be working on the PS4 port of this game, meaning that it could come into the hands of console players, possibly globally any time now. With that in mind, I wanted to do what I could to try to get the hype train going and really introduce people to the game and what it's about. Now, what you're seeing right now is the character trailer, and for the purpose of this trailer, they show some one-on-one fight scenarios, but unlike the first two Dissidia titles, this game is actually not in a one-on-one format. This game is a 3v3 format, 6 players, 2 teams. And they did this not only because they had already had 2 games following the same formula, but because the focus of this game is esports. Essentially, they're trying to make a competitive fighting game. Nintendo has already stepped into that field twice-fold with Smash Bros. And Splatoon. And Team Ninja is working on this game to help Square do the same. And I think initially, much like Pokken and Bandai Namco, it was originally thought to possibly be a 2D fighter, but as soon as Team Ninja, heard anything about it, it was like, oh no, if we did that, it would end up just like Dead or Alive or whatever game it is Team Ninja makes. I think it's that. So they went with the Dissidia style. That being said, a lot of Dissidia fans are concerned about the game. They think the battle system is dumbed down in the 3v3 format, and they're mad that they got rid of the flashy EX bursts. But I think once you get a little bit of time with the game, you'll realize that the fan service level, as far as flashy things, has not diminished at all, and the game is much more deep than the single player iteration. You just need to understand what's going on. And like, we've all wanted HD Dissidia since the very first came out. I've been saying, along with most of my friends, that it should have been a PS3 title from the start and it would have printed money. Where now we're getting that, and as you can see, the game is absolutely gorgeous. As soon as this character trailer is over, we can get into the nuts and bolts. And we really don't have to wait, I can just continue with that now. So like I said, it's 3 versus 3 battle, and it's a heavy focus on teamwork. Most of the RPG elements, well, all of the RPG elements from the handheld titles have been ditched in favor of a more controlled environment, where you have your character choice, and then like a Call of Duty or something, you have different loadouts that you can pick. Each character has their own unique moveset, of course, and they have a unique EX skill that kind of serves as the main differentiating factor between them and the rest of the cast. So, to give 2 popular examples, Cloud, his main gimmick is that he can charge all his attacks to make them stronger, up to 3 levels, and his EX skill is to activate Limit Break mode, which reduces the charging time down to like 1 second for max charge. So there's that trailer. And Squall's gimmick is Squall, when he attacks, if you time the attack button along with his strikes, he'll pull the trigger on his gun blade, causing an explosion and doing more damage. He also has the ability to draw from his other opponents, the Final Fantasy VIII use of the word draw, and it busts his stats. So there's a lot of diversity to be found in the game. So the first thing I want to show you is your main information source, and the Famitsu magazine in Japan handles that. And to get to their page, all you have to do is Google Famitsu Dissidia, and it's the first thing that shows up. Famitsu, I guess, sorry. Just translate the page and you're good to go. I didn't actually check to make sure my internet wasn't being terrible before I opened this, so hopefully it's fine. It's going a good bit slow, but it's alright. So, you know, the first thing everyone wants to know is the roster. 5 or 6 people have been added since the game came out. They're adding a new character about every 2 months. But right now, the roster is from Final Fantasy 1, Warrior of Light and Garland, from 2, Furion, 3, Onion Knight, 4, Cecil and Kane, 5, Bartz, 6, Terra and Kefka, 7, Cloud and the most recently added Sephiroth, 8, Squall, 9, Zidane, 10, Titus, 11, Shantoto, 12, Vaughn, 13, Lightning, 14, Yashtola, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ramza, and Final Fantasy Type O, Ace. Most of those additions were pretty unexpected. Another thing, visual-wise, it was kind of unexpected is they kind of revamped Titus's look. He has much more of a mature Beach Boy thing going on, and part of that is that, you know, the arts, like the first 2 games, the art style is based on Amano's original concept artwork, which is slightly different than how the characters turned out in game. But in Titus's case, he looked more like his Final Fantasy X version in the first 2 games, but he does look a bit different in this. So on their website, if you just want to find out about how the game works, go to the introduction of the game system, click on the first link, and you'll get some screenshots and some text. Now, it's rough Google Translate, but it's more than good enough for you to get the gist of what's going on. And apparently, I just really should have checked on my internet before I started making this video. Anyway, there's just one screenshot I wanted to show you. There you can see the arcade machines. They used detached PlayStation controllers as the controls, so you know the game is already made for the PS4. And if I'm not mistaken, running inside these cabinets is basically just modified PS4 systems anyway. So your main buttons are circle is your brave attacks. These are attacks that help you build up your potential to do damage, but don't actually do HP damage to your opponents. And you have different attacks on the ground and in the air, and a dash attack. So it's like smash attacks and specials in Smash Bros, where you press a direction and press circle and you get a different special move. There are no standard attacks. And then once you've built up the damage the way you want, and you want to go to hurt someone's HP to knock them out of the fight, Square does your HP attacks, and each character has 4 HP attacks available to them or so, but you'll have to choose one to use before the fight. And again, that's another change from the original Dissidias, where all the characters' HP attacks were available to them. But in a 3v3 setting, it helps promote strategy and clarity on the battlefield, because if you have a team of 3 other people, there's a team preview, so you can see what loadouts they're using. And if they had access to 12 HP attacks total as a team, there would just be no preparing for that. It would be chaos to a level that stifled competition. Triangle activates your character's special gimmicks. Like once your meter was charged with Cloud, you would press triangle to turn on his limit break mode. And you can also press triangle in a direction to activate the customizable loadouts, EX skills that you can bring. And then, of course, the rest of the buttons are jump, shield, and dash. But this is the game screen. And one complaint that has been levied is that it's cluttered. And I can actually understand that. But once you see the game in action, it really becomes not a non-issue. There's plenty of room to see, and all the information on the screen is useful to you if you want to use it, and you don't necessarily have to use all of it. But in any case, let me just run through all these points. One is your time. I think each match is 3 or 4 minutes long, so you can get a lot of matches in a short amount of time. And the goal of the game is to deplete your enemy team's life bar. Now, that's the 3 marker. How this works, the blue is your team and the red is the opponent's team. If someone dies on your team, it increases by 1 tick. If someone else dies, it increases by another tick. If the people on your team die 3 times, then your team loses. Now, when you die, you respawn in 10 seconds, I believe. So you come back to the fight. So yeah, that's the goal of the game. You don't have to kill all 3 of your opponents. You just have to you can kill 1 person 3 times, as long as your opponent's team suffers 3 KOs, and as long as you don't suffer any KOs. 3 KOs. The flashiest thing in the game now is number 2, which is your summon bar. These summon bars are empty. The bars that fill them are white. Once it's full, you can hold what would be the touchpad on the PS4 controller, and you will start charging to summon your chosen summon. Right now, they have both teams set to Ifrit, but Shiva, Alexander, Leviathan, and Rama, and Odin are all in the game. And they all do different things. They provide a passive buff for your team just by having them chosen, and they provide a buff for when you call them. Ifrit is a very attack-based summon, and I can get into all that another time. I'm just trying to run through these points for you. 4 shows who you're locked onto. See this blue arc going to your opponent? If you see a blue arc coming to you, that means an enemy is locked onto you, and if that arc turns red, that means they've launched an attack. Just something to help you out in all the chaos of this game. So you know to either change who you're locked onto to see what's coming your way, block, dodge, do something. 5 is your opponent. 6 is your Brave bar. This is what I mentioned earlier. If you're not familiar with Dissidia, doing circle attacks will raise this number. So if this doing Brave attacks against this guy will raise your Brave number, and it will lower his Brave number. So the higher your Brave number, the more HP damage you will do when you press square and do an HP attack. So as you can see right now, some of the information I was talking about, 11 is the enemy life bars, and you can see that it's showing you that if you hit Onion Knight with an HP attack right now, it will do 1000 damage and take him down to 2500 HP. 7 is your HP bar. 8 is your portrait and your EX skills. Your main EX skill, your character specific one, would be right here, like I mentioned, Cloud's Limit Break. This white bar is it charging. Once it's full, you can use it, and these are the 2 that you can select from a pool that any of your characters can use. Number 10 is obviously your team and their status. 11 again is the opponent's team and their status. 12 is the bonus you will get for if you deplete someone else's Brave to 0 using your attack. So if I hit him with a Brave attack that did 1000 damage, my Brave would go up to 2000. He would break because his Brave would deplete to 0, and then I would get a 1000 Brave point bonus, so my Brave would go up to 3000, meaning if I used an HP attack, I could bring him all the way down to 500 HP in one shot. And that's the general premise of the game, balancing your Brave and HP attacks to do damage or allow your opponents to get KOs with less Brave. And then 13, which I kind of feel like is a new addition, is the radar, but I'm just not sure. I noticed it after the last patch, but I don't know if it's just been there the whole time and I didn't notice it. So to wrap this up, there's one more page that I want to show you, and that is the character page. And this is important. There is actually a better source to learn about the characters, but this page is important too. And again, I'll go down to Cloud because it tells you about the developer's intentions when they made characters. So you can play however you want, and I'm sure the metagame will flesh out, oh, this character should be played this way, this character should be played that way, but it's instructive to know what the developers were thinking when they made a character, because that could inform you into some more nuanced gameplay, things that you wouldn't readily think that you could do with a character. And in here they have videos of their movesets, some video of how they can be played. Talks about their basic performance and their abilities. Videos of their HP attacks. As you can see, he's got a. You can't see what he's doing there, but you can see he's doing Meteor Rain there, one of his limit breaks. And yes, he does have Omni Slash. It just doesn't stop the whole fight like it does in the other titles. It explains his EX skills, and then at the very bottom, you can see all his palette swaps, which is also a pretty new addition to the game. His palette swaps and his other costume. And then you can also view their extra weapons that they have available to use. But like I said, there is a better source, and that is Trueblade Seeker's page on YouTube. And I will link his page in the description, and I'll do that for anytime I mention someone else's content. Like when I'm commentating the battles the players have uploaded to YouTube, I will link their original channel so you can go watch the rest of their content if you want. But if you go into his playlist, he's got a Dissidia Final Fantasy Arcade character move list, and he talks about the character. Well, he puts up text, and he explains what all their moves are good for in his view, and what they all do. So I'll pause this and I'll go show you his video on Cloud briefly. And his videos are very well made. I don't think his first language is English, so some of the stuff he says is a bit not properly spelled out. But you can get the idea. It's not the worst thing by anything. So he thinks Cloud is the best mid-range character, but his moves have a long startup, like I mentioned earlier in the video. He can have a hard time against people who are already in his face. He talks about his gimmick, and as he goes through the video, he'll just show you his moves, and some really important stuff. Like some moves have super armor, and this is a competitive fighting game, so you want to know in what situation you can get away with doing certain things. So, like Climb Hazard, for instance, which the entire Smash community calls Climb Hazard, and I don't know, that really annoys me. I know he's rising when he does it, but I had never heard that until Smash came out. But the important part is that on the inward dash cut, he has super armor. So if someone's coming at you, on the ground, you know that you can, as long as they're not doing an HP attack that'll beat you out, you can, and even if they are, if you get in there with your super armor first and hit them, then you're good. So, this video has all kinds of information like that, and you can see that it's even telling you the damage values. There's his finishing touch, kind of stay on your side of the stage move, cross slash. Oh, and this is another thing, wall rush. The entire combo game of this game really centers around using a move that achieves wall rush. As you can see, she hit her and she stuck to the wall, and he tells you which moves have wall rush as well, as you can see. And what it basically means is right there she was stuck to the wall and he used cross slash. That is your chance to land an HP attack on someone while they can't move, or continue your combo with another brave attack. And that is pretty much all there is to say about how the game works. As you can see, it's pretty hectic. There's a lot happening on the screen, but it's a very beautiful game, and it's very deep as well. If you pick up this game, it's very accessible because all the moves are easy to do. But at the same time, if you pick it up and you think you're going to run straight at someone and just hit them with Omni Slash, you're in for another thing coming. Because, like you just saw, Omni Slash is a long attack, and if he doesn't have Limit Break active, to keep him in super armor while he's doing the combo, like it's on the screen right now, then someone can just walk up next to you with you doing this long animation and destroy you, and that could be the game. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to manage. In my opinion, the way I explain it, it's the most anime game in existence to me. Everyone is just flying around, max power attacking, getting blindsided, and having close calls. So that's my basic overview of the game. My next video will be a stop and go battle video. Like I'll play a video for you and I'll tell you about it as things are happening. I'll pause to explain what's happening at different moments. So this will be my general overview. Then I'll do a battle overview, and after that, I will start my series of commentary. So the person I'm going to use for the battle overview, he's one of my favorite players. His name is Sosui, and well, his channel's name is Sosui, and I'll be commentating one of his Bart's videos. Now, I originally went to him because I thought he was my favorite Bart's player, but he's not. G-Gill is. So my first commentary video will be from G-Gill playing Bart's, and then I'll come back to Sosui's page when I do Sephiroth, and I may or may not start my commentary after Bart's from the bottom up with Warrior of Light. Now, if you don't want to see that, if you would rather me go straight to your favorite character, leave it in the comments of any of these videos, and I'll head to the most requested character first. It's probably going to be Cloud or Lightning. But yeah, I've got players on deck that I can commentate their videos, just like anybody else. So probably Bart's, then Warrior of Light. If that's not what you want to see, let me know, and I'll go do someone else. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell your friends if you're hype about the game. If you want people to get hype about the game, we got to get some content out there and get people talking about it. So, until next time.